Welcome to the Theme Park Mix podcast for news, facts, updates, and more about all things theme parks. I'm your theme park enthusiast host, Alex Hetz, and today I am joined with my sister, Tiffany.
Hey, how are you?
Today, or last week for that matter, Universal Studios Florida just celebrated their 30th year anniversary of being open, and we are here to talk about today about some of the classics. I wanted to bring up the social distancing markers and things that the parks are doing to stay clean during this pandemic as they prepare to reopen, or since they have reopened. And I also wanted to talk about the Barn Spectacular, but since you were not at the park over the last 2 weeks, you won't understand a single thing, so we are here to talk about option number 2 of a video, and that is the classics of Universal.
That's right, yeah, so I was not with you when you were down there. It sounded like a blast. Sounded like they were doing a really good job keeping everything clean and safe for everyone, which I feel like is really required nowadays just to keep the parks open. I know that they were kind of the testing. Actually, Six Flags is running in Atlanta right now, which I noticed.
Yeah, I did notice that. Pass holders, I think, get 2 weeks to come before regular park guests. And it's still a reservation system, even though Universal, it was only 2 days that they were allowed. Instead of 2 weeks, 2 days that they were allowed to come. So
I think it's almost as a test and along with just an incentive to just have more people sign up as pass holders, because a ticket like Six Flags you can get a lot easier, and they'll want, obviously, you to come more often. So they probably wanted to almost like encourage people to force to buy a annual pass to go more.
Yeah, very interesting. So,
yeah.
How old were you when we went to Universal when we were younger?
I want to say I was probably
I was
about...
like 12.
Okay, so I was about 9.
Yeah, before last year, it's been about 10 or 11 years since we went to
well, I guess
Universal.
we went when the Harry Potter first were
Yeah, and
open.
You know what today is?
What's that?
The 10-year anniversary of
There we go. Okay, so I was 9.
Today, which is, not sure when I'll have this podcast out, but today, June 18th, is the 10-year anniversary of when the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Hogsmeade opened.
Right. Yes.
It's
changed a little bit from then.
Yeah, now we have Hagrid's, we have Diagon Alley, we have the Hogwarts Express, and you know what Diagon Alley replaced?
I think so. Isn't it Twister? Wasn't it Twister?
Get out. It is Jaws.
Okay,
An
well,
old
yes.
favorite that I cannot believe they took out. As much as I love Diagon Alley and Harry Potter and all that stuff, and it's really kind of saved the park in a lot of ways and upped the theme park game all around the world for theming experiences. I'm very upset that they took out Jaws. I'm just going to name the video #BringBackJaws because I am a huge supporter of that hashtag.
You mention it every time we're on that boardwalk, too. You just have to bring it up.
In the San Francisco
yes.
area.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up a few topics about that because there are a lot of Jaws references in Diagon Alley. Like, there's the rumor that under the waterfall in the London area, which used to be the entrance to the Jaws attraction, they buried one of the animatronic sharks.
Interesting.
Under the waterfall, or under the water fountain, because to basically say, hey, Jaws is always lurking in the water below.
Wouldn't that be funny? Wow, they're like trying to make their own park haunted.
People, I challenge you. I mean, a year or 2 ago, people were saying that they're gonna Naruto run right into Area 51. I challenge you to run right into Universal and unbury that shark. That is my challenge to everyone
You're
right now.
kind of setting up people for disaster, so maybe don't. Just
guys, don't go.
Google search it.
Don't quote me on this, and don't go breaking and entering into a theme park. Not a good idea. So, what else?
Well, I know the park's changed a lot, and it's even things just from, like, Twister that used to be there, and just a lot has shifted, I've noticed personally. It's just, like, from experience rides to more so just screen rides. And that's something we consistently talk about, is just how to keep up with the like flow of Disney and just the manufacturing rides, they almost just keep putting out the same ride idea with their screens and just the 3D glasses. And I just think it's almost shifted more to that than classic rides. Like we even had Jaws that was on a boat.
Yeah, I mean, Jaws is really just the Jungle Cruise with teeth.
That is true. That is true. Yeah.
I love Jaws. That was... why did they have to take it away?
Yeah, he's sentimental about it.
Probably at least Jaws was replaced with a good ride.
That is true. And I feel like with the Harry Potter, everything that they're adding with that's one of those that is not so much a screen ride. I mean, obviously we have Gringotts and Forbidden Journey. But what they are adding, it's more of the experience, more, dare I say, Disney quality of just including you into the world and the realm of, like, the wizarding world of Harry Potter. And not to compare and contrast, but I just feel like the new additions are always a screen ride.
Yeah, and speaking of terribly utilized screen rides, let's address the elephant in the room. Fast and Furious Supercharged.
Yeah, so I wrote that last time we went, and I just, the whole
Tear
time...
it down!
I was just kind of like, what are we trying to... I think, didn't I ask you? I was like, what were we trying to do on that ride?
The only thing that I took away from that ride is please silence your cell phone. Please silence your cell phone 1,000 times. Yeah, I think we get it. Half the ride is please silence your cell phone.
I just don't really understand. It was just very slow moving, and we're in that club scene, and all I remember is people in front of us laughing about. They were like, "Oh, look at the girl!" Like people are just the thing is like they were just fun, like pretty funny to watch dancing. I was just like, what is the point of this ride? Like, yeah, I just don't understand that.
First scene before the ride actually starts, and then when the ride does start, you just wish that you were on any other ride.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's fine.
I mean, King Kong is really the same ride, but
at least something's going on.
So much better. That one feels more of an attraction. Fast and Furious feels more like, hey, we have this cool stuff that we want to show you. Right. It's more of a test, and it opened after King Kong. It opened like 2 years after King Kong. Yeah. So, I don't know.
So, I guess I should ask you about, like, since we are at the 30 years and it's been 10 years since we last went.
And that replaced also one of my favorites. Fast and Furious replaced Disaster, which when the park opened was called Earthquake, but really Earthquake and Disaster were the same thing. They kind of just removed the... Earthquake was a movie, and they kind of removed the movie stuff from it to make it Disaster, but really it was the same ride.
Yeah. So. Well, that segues into, like, what I was saying is, like, what has changed since even the 10 years we've, like, since in between we went?
A lot.
A lot. I mean, you can go kind of park by park, too.
E.T. has kind of been forgotten about. It's an underrated classic. Please don't take out E.T. and replace it with any new ride.
E.T. just, that smell, I'm telling you. There's a different smell there, for sure.
We gotta get the candles that smell like the forest.
I know, that's true. They do sell that. That's right. Yeah, we were looking at these theme park candles that have all the scents and stuff. So need to order those. Still haven't ordered them. And get some smells because apparently they're spot on to everything. I've heard that Flight of Passage is like could not be more exact.
What is it? Does that smell like?
So it smells like the
Flight of Passage.
When you're in the room with the like bioluminescent like jellyfish thing flying around. On the ride? That's that room?
What are those called?
I don't know. But anyways, off topic.
Does anyone know that?
Anybody know the name of those things?
Yeah, it's kind of like name two characters in the movie. Jake Sully and Neytiri.
Exactly. And nobody can, but you know, it's
I can name 5 characters.
Well, you also are kind of into the whole movie thing. Anyways, back on track.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff has changed. So we had like Earthquake and Twister.
Twister replaced with Jimmy Fallon, another one that I can't believe they took out. But that was Twister. We're talking about like opening day stuff. Twister was not their opening day.
Right.
It used to be
so how many attractions?
It used to be a Ghostbusters show that Twister ended up replacing. And I never got a chance to see the Ghostbusters show, but from what I understand, it was good. I've seen a video of it. It seemed like if it was still there today, it would kind of be outdated. So I understand why they decided to replace it with Twister. But Twister was awesome, and I can't believe they replaced it with Jimmy Fallon. It just, I don't know. At least, I feel like when the parks opened, they felt like each area had its own theme. like the New York section over by Mummy was Kongfrontation when it first opened, and it took place in New York. Like King Kong takes place in New York.
I felt like it was more exact, and they
and
kept
now we're
it
in
clearer.
Egypt, so it doesn't.
Yeah, I just think they kept it more distinguished in between
And-
the things. Kind of like Hollywood Studios almost even. I mean, like, or MGM, just how it really had that, like, come to Hollywood vibe and feel like you're, like,
At least
part
they
of the
still
movie sets.
kept
And
it in place because
I suppose so,
the
but
New
Universal
York, the
changed
New
a lot.
York section with Muppet Vision, at least the Muppets takes place in New York,
That is true.
right? I don't know. I've only seen like two.
I believe so.
I've only seen like 2 or 3 other movies.
But yeah, with Universal, I feel like now it's just kind of like, all right, well, we kind of ran out of space, and we're just gonna
But-
use buildings that was there.
Yeah, exactly. To get to my point, like the Mummy, now we're like in Egypt instead of New York. But at least when they put Twister, like Ghostbusters takes place in New York, obviously, and so it made sense why it was there. And then Twister takes place. I just saw the movie actually. I think for the first time ever. They just added
Oh, it's
it.
a funny movie.
They just put it on Netflix like last week, so I
did
watched
they?
it, and it takes place in Oklahoma. So why was it in New York?
That'd be pretty sad if you had to make an Oklahoma land, though. I will say that. That would be.
That would be really.
I don't know
sad.
what they would do, but that'd be interesting.
At least Jimmy Fallon now, as bad as the
Isn't-
ride is, and I would have loved
Yeah.
to just have Twister still there. At least that takes place. Like they filmed Jimmy Fallon in New York.
That is true.
So at least they're getting back to their like theming. But I heard that the rumor is that the Secret Life of Pets ride being built in Universal Hollywood might be translated over into Florida, and it might replace Shrek 4D. Like they might use that space, which I do think Shrek has kind of had its run. It needs to go. It's kind of outdated at this point, and I don't think anyone.
Was the show outdated? Because I haven't gone to that in 10 years.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
If you go see it, you'll see what I mean. So I think that a replacement is definitely time for a replacement. And judging by the lines for it, I think you could tell that no one else really cares either. So I wouldn't mind if they put the Secret Life of Pets attraction in that building, but I would rather have them put it back over by Jimmy Fallon, like behind it, because there's definitely room there, I think. Like under the Helix on Rip Ride Rocket, they could put it there probably, but I don't think it takes up that much space.
Yeah.
If you're looking at Shrek 4D, the theater is not that big. So the building, anywho. So I think they should put it back there just because it's New York, fits with the theming, but they probably won't. So kind of disappointing.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I will say what is very funny within the 10 years that we've gone there. Obviously, we've grown up. But we can talk about the rides that we both wouldn't go on. Because we both had rides we were both terrified of. And oddly enough, as favorite as Jurassic Park is for you, you would not get on that boat ride to save your life.
Islands of Adventure is only 21 years old.
That is true.
And Studios
That
is
is true.
30. And yeah, as much as this whole channel is inspired by Jurassic Park.
Yeah, truly.
So,
But yeah, Alexander, I will say, not to expose you, you drag your sister on here to expose you, but he was not a roller coaster or big ride person until 17 years old?
14.
Okay.
Oh,
I don't know if that's true, but okay. Yeah, not to expose you, right? You can change the title not from Bring Jaws Back, but to Alexander Exposed. But yeah, so I know I don't know if I went on Earthquake.
Disaster?
Disaster.
It was Disaster
Twister.
when we had passes
I
there.
did one and not the other.
Oh,
But I can't remember which
I know
one.
you didn't ride Twister.
I did. There's no way I went on Twister. There's no way.
It
I
wasn't
must have
even
gone on
Here's the
Disaster.
thing about Twister. I understand why I had to go. The thing is that it's standing room. You're in a theater with probably only about 30 other people standing, and it felt like that first room that you were in on the Backlot tour at Hollywood Studios,
Okay.
where it's like
Where it's like an
we're
experience and you're
themed
just
we're themed to Pearl Harbor, and like they try to simulate jets bombing the water and stuff, and then if you were picked from the audience, you got soaked from all the water splashing. It felt like that, but in an enclosed theater, and I don't know, it was like kind of felt like what Fast and Furious is doing, where it feels more like here we have these special effects that we want to show off more than an actual attraction. But I still
Right.
loved it
Yeah.
because you got that nice wind and everything.
I'm not sure what else I'm trying to think of that was even there 10 years ago. I mean, obviously, like the stuff that we've talked about, Jaws and
Well,
Earthquake, but even what new things came? Maybe not just like replacing old ones because we've already talked about that, but did anything new? But I think overall, though, even with the changes, Universal has a very different feel than any other theme park. And I do feel like they stayed true to it over the years from when clearly I'm not 30 years old, so I didn't go to the beginning. But I just feel like they like we discussed, how they replaced the things in New York City to feel still like they're more in New York. So I think they're doing okay keeping, like, their standards high with their stuff. I just personally have realized that, like, a lot of their new rides are just screens. Until we get to, like, everything with Harry Potter.
yeah, I mean, Gringotts
Gringotts is still a screen, but at least it's more of a roller coaster. And you got the train, and again, still with the screen. Everything has the screen at Universal,
I hope Epic Universe doesn't go down that route. The new Universal Park. I
hope so. I hope it's not as much simulator vibes.
They are. So the 4 lands confirmed for that park are Super Nintendo World, which I'm most excited about. Classic Monsters, a classic Universal Classic Monsters area, and then the Fantastic Beasts area, which may or may not happen because the movies have not been doing as well as they'd hoped. And then a How to Train Your Dragon's Land, which I'm really excited for.
You know what interests me is that Disney, clearly I've got a Disney kick today, Universal brings back things like the Bourne show, like things that our generation are very unaware of. And it just, like, the classic Monsters thing, like, it's something I've just noticed, like, even what's the special effects show that we went to?
Fear Factor?
No, not Fear Factor, the one with the makeup.
The horror makeup show.
Horror makeup show. It just kind of surprises me they bring back all these, like, classic things
that is actually, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up because that is an opening day attraction.
It is.
Yes.
Interesting.
It's one of the very few, like, really the only...
Okay, well then maybe they just...
I mean, was the Blues Brothers their opening day? I don't know, but I don't know if you saw them in the times that we've gone. The Blues Brothers,
I'm trying to think.
it's right across from Mummy. It's just like a show that they set
outside?
up. Yeah, it's outside.
Okay, I've seen it, yeah.
You just walk by them, and you could stay and watch them. And it's funny because currently they have the markers on the ground for 6 feet apart on the floor. And the horror makeup show and Fear Factor have been closed for the time being.
Oh yeah, Fear Factor won't go back for a while because you have to eat bugs. They're not going to have people eating stuff in the show. Maybe I'll actually want to do it.
I mean, we only just saw that show the first time. And
I know, I'm glad that we saw it when we did.
I think it's like, it needs to go. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I want to do it. I got to do it once before it goes. I want to be in it.
I mean, that replaced what was an opening day attraction, which was the Wild Wild West stunt show, which was there, and we have not gotten to do that. I hear it was great, and people were sad to see it go. Now people are saying that the rumor is that there might be a Ministry of Magic attraction to add to the Harry Potter, replacing Fear Factor, which
really?
I think... I mean, at this point, just make the whole park Harry Potter.
I know, well, that's what I was going to say.
I would not like that. Please, Universal, do not make the whole park Harry Potter.
Honestly? I'd be cool with it.
But I'm just... like, if they've just reskinned each of their current attractions into Harry Potter rides, like...
No, yeah, they don't need to do that.
Men in Black can be a wand shooter ride, and then... and then E.T. can be, like, another addition to the...
A broomstick ride.
It could be a broomstick ride, or I was going to say, like, how Hagrid is the motorbike ride. I was going to say just make it another motorbike ride.
All right. So, I mean, I think we kind of covered it.
And
general
I just wanted to bring this up. I forgot to bring it up earlier, but back to Jaws. What's interesting... because I love Jaws so much.
Clearly.
Because... And also the movie is celebrating its 45th anniversary.
Oh.
A lot of anniversaries.
Yeah, it's true.
So, the real reason why they closed it was because it was expensive to run, and it almost never worked. It was hard to get a ride on it where everything worked without a malfunction because there were so many sharks. Well, there were like 5, I think. But 5 animatronic sharks were used, maybe 6.
Could you imagine if they made this right now? It'd be so insane.
I mean, you have the movie, and if you guys know your movie history, that movie had so many problems getting to theaters with the shark never working because they used a real animatronic shark. If they just made the movie now, it would be CGI. But basically, they should have learned from that and not made the ride. The shark never worked when the park opened, and part of the thing is when the fire blew, there was an explosion with the fuel tank. That actually apparently cost about $75 every time a boat ran by.
Well, and that's what you have to take into account for all these park things are running. I mean, cost. That's a big thing for, I think, why rides close. If it costs them too much based on their ratio of how many people they are walking in and riding it, they're going to close it.
It's cool because the rumor is that they moved the fuel tank to the dragon that breathes fire in Diagon Alley.
Okay.
So
recycling.
Also, people were saying that, the whole Bring Back Jaws thing. I'm with it. People were saying that they should put it in the new Epic Universe park, and hey, King Kong was brought back from Kongfrontation and Islands of Adventure. Why can't Jaws be brought back? Here's the thing to that. King Kong is still making movies. There hasn't been a new Jaws movie in how long?
That's true. Yeah, they're not going to want to reboot something that's not current, kind of.
Yeah.
And they tried it. It's, success and failure at the same time.
Yeah. So I believe we did cover everything. Anything else you want to talk about?
All I'm saying is I just miss theme parks.
Yeah.
I miss Disney World most, but I miss theme parks.
Disney will be open sooner than later, and we got to make our reservations. Are they open for reservations?
I don't know. That's what we'll check when we get off this podcast.
Okay. Well, go ahead and follow me on Twitter, Theme Park Rex on Twitter, and subscribe to us on YouTube. We love hearing your feedback, so let us know what you guys think about how the parks are changing. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. This has been the Theme Park Rex Podcast, Episode 2. I'll see you next time. Ciao.